I call to order this regular meeting of the Monument Town Council, Monday, November 17th. Please rise for the pledge.
And to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First, can we take roll?
Mayor LaKind,
Here.
Pro Tem King,
Here.
Councilmember Fiorito,
Here.
Chronic.
Here.
Councilmember Kimple,
Here.
Councilmember Smith,
Here.
and Councilmember Abbott is noted absent.
All right, any disclosed conflicts of interest? Of course, we have an agenda, modifications to,
I'd like to make a modification and remove 3E from the, for further discussion.
their modifications.
Are we putting 3E into the agenda or for the next?
It will get moved to
Okay.
modifications.
Motion to accept the consent agenda as modified 3E and C.
Second.
Whenever you're ready, Ms. Zero. Up to oath of office, Chief Reagan.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to introduce or swear in our two newest officers, Sean Connell and Carlos Guillen. All right. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Sean Connell,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and bear
that I will support and bear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution and laws
to the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and the state of Colorado,
and the state of Colorado,
and to the ordinances of the town of Monument,
and to the ordinances of the town of Monument,
and that I will defend and protect the lives,
and that I will defend and protect the lives,
safety, and property
safety, and property
of the people of Monument,
of the people of Monument,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge
the duties of the office of peace officer
the duties of the office of peace officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Get drop blood.
Do I see a change in the uniform or now, specially designed holes for the thing to go through?
You still mess it up.
Come on.
No. I was talking about.
Good job.
Sean, you want to introduce yourself to the crowd?
I'm Sean Connell. I was born on Fort Riley in Kansas. I moved around the Midwest for a couple of years, and then I came out here in 2022, out in Pueblo, where I sold drugs. I was a pharmacy technician. So
He is gonna fit in really well here.
I came up here about a year ago, and I live just off of Glen Eagle, so I'm real local. happy to be here working with a great team, and I really like the town. I'm happy to be here.
I don't know how to follow that up, but yeah, don't do. I'm Carlos Guillen. I had the luxury of joining the military and getting to travel with my family. I got stationed in Washington while I was in the Army, and then came here, Fort Carson. And then we fell in love with it, and I wanted to continue to serve. And with the sword of my family, I want to continue to keep serving, and then just be a hero to them. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, first up on tonight's agenda, presentation wise, is the 2026 draft budget. Is your intention to go through every page that you added? Okay, I just was trying to set my mind, so I understood. We're going over numbers,
We went over numbers 2 weeks ago.
okay?
And so what this is, we talked about in detail the numbers for this budget. And so what this is the budget document. So it's a little bit different than you've seen before. It's a new format for the town of Monument, but this is for the Government Finance Officers Association. This is best practices, or the start of getting a best practices document for our budget. And the idea behind this format is that it's as transparent as can be for our community. You will see that there are additional things that you haven't seen before. It's supposed to really show to the taxpayers that we're doing something with the monies that we take from them. So we're showing accomplishments. And as we move forward, we'll continue to add things into this document. Your strategic priorities are in there, your strategic objectives are in there, and then each of the department discusses the things that they accomplished in 25. In 27, we'll start to keep looking forward, but it's really important. It's important that we have a budget to be able to communicate how we're spending our monies here in Monument. It also serves a little bit as a marketing document. It's a good forward-facing document to be able to have. From a numbers perspective, I just want to point out some of the revenue changes that are now included in this budget, because we talked in detail 2 weeks ago about where we were with the budget, and council gave direction on some additional revenues, resulting in having to use less general fund reserves to balance this budget. We did add $24,000 moving rent money from the building that's on 259 Beacon Light Road that was going into a different fund. It can go into the general fund as revenue. We did add the water franchise fee that will be coming to you in 2 weeks with an ordinance change. And so we did add that in. We also added in the $100,000 in revenue for the sales tax. That item is on tonight's agenda. Lori will be presenting that. And that's the removal of the discount. If you pay your sales tax on time, and council was open to that and directed us to move forward with that. And also an estimated $200,000 in the additional mill levy to be able to go up to the full amount of the 5.57. So that helped us get closer to a balanced budget. There are some additional expenditures that were added. We did leave in $4,000. You had a conversation about your own training. We did leave in $4,000. It's an option. It's just there for you in case you decided that you wanted to go to a CML conference. There really is good information there. And so we wanted you to have the opportunity, if somebody did want to go, we did leave a little bit of money in for that. Parks and Rec increased some professional development that had been left out. And one change that I still need to make, because we met very late last week with the folks who are supporting Heart of Monument, we will be changing the expenditure and revenue amounts for Heart of Monument. They have a little bit more that they've collected, and we have a little bit more we need to add in. So we have the full amount budgeted for Heart of Monument so that we can hopefully move forward with an RFP or an IFB in the spring. So that change is not in there right now, but it will be coming in the actual final document. A couple things to point out. There are some formatting challenges that you'll have noticed. I just didn't have the opportunity to fix everything, which is why it's a draft. All of those formatting things will be fixed in the final version. Also different from what you've seen before is revenues are presented as a negative. And this is the joy of accounting. It's one of the reasons I'm not an accountant. So doing the research and asking my illustrious team, it has to do with how banking takes numbers in. And so revenue is shown as a negative, expenditures are shown as a positive. And so now that we're using Cassell Advantage, our budget software is now in an accounting software. And so you'll see that those revenues are negatives. So it's not negative revenue, it's just the joy of accounting. Couple things I wanted to go through the policies. You adopted policies 6 months ago. You asked that those policies be brought back every 6 months. Those are included as an appendix to this document. And the opportunity to reapprove those will occur then in 2 weeks when we bring back the final document. We are using about $200,000 to $300,000 in reserves from the general fund to be able to balance this budget, but that is significantly better than what we accomplished in 25 and where we were looking for 26. So I think we've made really good strides there. I do want to point out again, this is a very bare bones budget. The one thing I didn't have time to accomplish, and I will bring to you in 2 weeks, is the long range financial forecast. We talked about that several times this year. It does look better. But one of the things we really need to talk about is, what does that base budget look like? Because this base budget is so thin that if we use this base budget to calculate out the next 5 years, it's not really realistic. And so I'll work on that this week and have been working on it. And so we'll discuss that when I present the final budget on the 1st of December. Again, so you have an operating reserve over 30%. Your policy says to be at least at 20. You're striving for 20, so that's very good. Last year when we adopted the 25 budget, we were at about 15%. And so it's good to have that higher reserve. But part of the reason is we really cut back in 25 and we really cut back in 26 in expenses. And so again, it's really not a sustainable expense budget moving forward. We were not able to accomplish an emergency reserve nor a budget stabilization reserve. We could start moving a little bit of money over if you wanted to, but right now both of those reserves have not been established per your policy. Everything else, I just wanted to let you know that we're working on things with your policies. We have the fee study underway. We've talked about that many times. The impact fee study is underway. You have a new capital improvement program budget that we've also included in this. It's a new format as well, follows the format of the budget document, and that will continue to grow over time. This was our first attempt at it. And so as the years move on, our hope is to expand that information. And as I've mentioned before, to have operating expenses included in the capital budget. But that'll be a much more robust document as we move forward in the years ahead. We did show that CIP to the Citizen Service Level Advisory Committee, just to show them the magnitude of our capital projects that really do need to be looked at over the next just 5 years. And the number is $145 million. Even if you take out the police station and the public works facilities, which are both critically important, you're still pushing into the $100 million. So there's still some real challenges ahead. But for what we're presenting for you for 2026, you have a balanced budget. Next steps will be to finalize all of these documents, bring them back to you on December 1st, and then have you adopt with a menagerie of resolutions, have you adopt this budget, and we'll be able to move forward into 2026. So I'm happy to answer any specific questions. I have the document pulled up if you wanted to look at something. If there's anything you'd still like to change, any direction you'd like to give us with regards to this budget, please let me know and happy to answer any questions.
This was a very thorough document. It took me the entire Broncos game to get through it.
But it was a great game.
It was a good game. It got better as I got closer to the end of the
True.
packet. So in your memo,
Mhm.
you bring up a line item that we don't normally talk about, and that is the space that we rent out at 259.
Correct.
Is that currently under a contract, and is the rate that's being charged at the proper market rate?
Yes, it's under a lease and I believe it's at market.
Yes, at market from probably a few years ago, but we did change the lease a few years ago to where it's kind of we have a lot more flexibility if we needed to use that space. So we will be having to relook at it as they're doing some meter consolidation at 259, but we believe it's at a market rate.
Okay. And then the franchise fee that we discussed, is that only applicable to town water?
Well, we don't think so. We think that it could be applicable to other utilities, and it's one of the projects that we're now working on. Looking at all the franchise fees had been on my list for several months, and it's just a project that hasn't worked its way to the top, but it is absolutely something that we're going to look at. We won't be able to add any revenue now because we just don't know, but it's absolutely worth looking into.
Because we recently, and by recent, I mean in the last, since this council's been sitting, we did sign a franchise agreement with a utility provider in the town. And I believe we discussed their construction rates were off, but I know there was a franchise fee in there. I think it was Comcast.
Comcast pays a franchise fee, that's correct.
So were we not collecting that even though it was in the agreement that we should be?
No, we've been collecting from Comcast.
Oh,
We
okay.
just haven't been collecting from our own utility. So that was one of those, I had talked about that and I actually had it a little bit backwards. So thank you for letting me clarify that. We had, let's see, let me get this right. We had the franchise fee for water. It was discontinued. And then in 2018, it was put back in place, but we can't find any council action to have made that happen. And so it was, as I mentioned, it was the auditors that caught it. So I said it reversed, that we had stopped charging the fee. We were charging it. We stopped charging it in 25 because we didn't have authority to charge it. And that's why we're bringing it back to you.
It's definitely different.
I know, I apologize.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm glad the auditor caught it.
Yes,
Okay, so in particular, this is not applicable to other utility providers that have agreements in place, because I know since I've been sitting up here, we've had several come up to be renewed. And so the one in particular, this is only for the town's water supply.
this one that we're bringing forward in 2 weeks will be only for the water, for our utility. We will look at all the others and evaluate them and see, making sure we're getting all the revenue. Like I said, I just haven't had the chance to do that.
Sure, okay.
Just for have it renewed. Comcast, Black Hills Energy, and MVEA in the past 5 years, and we are collecting those fees.
You said we have not?
We
Okay.
have.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I saw we had a whole conversation about the construction fees being too low. Damage they did, if they needed to. Okay. Then,
And just to further clarification, this applies to Monument as well as Triview, correct? For water franchise fee?
This particular one that Jennifer's talking about is only for the town of Monument.
Okay.
So we're evaluating the other water districts.
Okay.
So you touched on the CML thing, because I caught that.
I know.
I seriously doubt we'll I think we're all going to agree to not spend the money for 2026. So whatever dollar amount you put into the budget will forego. I hear next year is in, where's the
Westminster, isn't it?
Keystone?
Isn't it in West-
Keystone is next year, or 2027.
Right. I think
So-
Westminster's next year.
Maybe things will get better for Keystone
There you go.
instead of Westminster.
We just wanted to clarify that, a lot of information is shared at that event. And so we feel like we didn't want to completely take it out in case there was some state information or something that we felt like was going to be really important. So we wanted to have the flexibility should somebody choose to go.
All right, well, I'll try to keep in touch with Kevin's staff and see if he can give us a heads up on, because I know they're asking for speakers that just came out.
Mhm.
And so we'll have to wait and see what they come up with. Okay, there was a line item that's called general insurance. Specifically for the council, it was removed. And I guess my question is if this was just a function of where insurance that covers the council, if it just moved from one location to another, because I naturally assume that if we do have to go out to a function or a conference, something happens to one of us, we're covered. There's
We
some-
also want
there's-
D&O.
Huh?
Director and officer insurance as a liability. So that's included, I'm assuming.
Emily, do you want to help me?
So within the workman's comp insurance, we do have coverage for everyone included up on the dais.
Great, thank you. Okay, I will hold off and I've got some other things, but I'll let other members of the council bring up their questions. Thank you.
Mhm.
You want to go or you want me to go?
Either one.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I generally, because I understand the whole accounting thing, the accounting-based
Mhm.
presentation. As we've discussed, I'm not going to put my my little negative on it. But from a public standpoint, a lot of people don't understand that.
Mm.
And when they look at revenue and they see negative,
Mhm.
immediately, doing it, it's a very, very much a negative. So I went out and looked at the budgets at the state, county, and city of Colorado Springs. And in all of those, they just present a number. Revenue, expense, no positive, negative, nothing until you get to the balance sheet. Then it starts looking realistic according to accounting-based
Mhm.
presentations. Is it possible for us to do the same sort of thing so that we don't, have the uproar from the residents that we're expecting?
Or at least a cover sheet.
Right.
Sure, we can, yes, in the summary ones, we can try. We can see what that potentially looks like. And remember, we only have less than about a week to make all the changes because we got to get everything in for the process. But we can certainly try maybe some of the highlighted, the larger sheets, the more high level sheets. And I can also put a comment under each one that says, negative is not a negative.
Well, yeah, and just to say it's accounting based,
Right.
that's fine, but I don't know that everybody understands what that means.
Yep,
I didn't for a long time, so, yeah. Thank you.
yep, my
So
pleasure.
for me, I didn't watch the Bronco game. And when I first opened this up, I was a bit confused till I ran a bunch of my own numbers because what we had talked about before, we're a couple $100,000 short. But when you look at the first couple pages in here, which is I assume the public will look at, and it says 2026 total revenue, 25.8 million.
Right,
And then it says 2026 total expenditures, 35.5 million.
correct.
And I know that's not right, but I don't know how that accounting goes into there. Is that the debt for the water?
So that's all funds. So those first, would you like me to bring it up?
Sure. That'd be great. Or at least Tell us what page you're on.
Because I couldn't, in the water stuff, I couldn't find those numbers anywhere. Other than on this one summary.
18 and 19.
Yes,
Oh, of the,
17 and 18,
of the presentation.
right.
So
So I went through the whole budget and I came up with different numbers than that. So that's what I'm confused on.
So this is, so the, on 17, total revenue, this is all of the funds,
Right.
right? So it's not just the general fund, it's all of the funds together. So if there's a typo or something didn't roll right, we can certainly double check those numbers. But that's what this is. So the total revenue for all funds for the town is the 25,880,000,
Right.
right? And then total expenditures, all funds is the 35.5 million.
But I didn't come up with those numbers because you've got, in the water funds, you've got one that's like 9.8 million and one that's 6.7 million. That doesn't show up anywhere else.
It should.
These capital projects or,
Yes, those are major capital projects.
so, but I don't think we have that much online for the water
You do.
for 2026.
Something's got changed at so changes were going on at the very, some reason my pages are blank.
Cause I looked through the water, I looked through all the water stuff and I didn't see that in there.
Yeah, please.
So if you're looking at page 7 till 19,
Right.
so water, 4,555,000. For revenue,
For water fund revenue. Right, and you got two, you've got the 2A water fund plus the water fund.
correct, but they're separate funds.
I know, but on the expenditures, there's two separate line items that
I see.
I didn't see anywhere else.
Oh, yeah, because you have,
And when I did the math, it came out to more like we were talking about before.
there's 2A and there's the water fund.
Correct.
So are you looking, I'm sorry, the revenue page or the,
Like both of
Expense.
them. So I'm looking at the revenue page right now.
okay, so if you look at the revenue page, we'll just pick on water.
Yeah, that's all the only thing I,
555.
that's all I got.
If you flip back, it's almost, I don't have the page numbers.
Yeah, I didn't do them because I ran out of time.
The water fund, so it's
Towards the end.
towards the end.
Right. Sure, of course.
And my document's not coming up.
And that's the grand total.
So that's revenue though.
Right.
Right,
So that's the number that's on that. second
Correct.
page, okay?
correct, right.
So the same with expenditures.
That is a little,
I know, grand totals at the top.
but that's more, that's less than what's on this.
So that's,
Okay, but it shows. Okay, no, I was looking at the 2A fund. Well, I don't know if they're wrong. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So these are, because this is a lot of capital improvements. This is, I know it's the water tank and the water lines and things like that, but what else would it be?
Are you saying that 6.7 million is too much or,
Well, it's 6.7 million plus 9.8.
oh, the 9.85, right?
So that's where
yeah,
I'm
so the
confused,
9.5 is the 2A.
right?
Yeah.
For expenses. But what are all those expenses?
The water tank.
Beacon Light.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah, I know that we're doing the water tank, so I get that there's capital expenses, but is it really that much money?
Yeah, that's what, that's what he gave us.
Yeah, it's showing 7.5 million for the 5 million for the new water tank and 2 million for the renewable water capital. And then the capital project PW facility, 500,000. That's 7.5 for the capital outlay, 7.55 of that 9.8 expenditures on page 63 of the PDF.
63?
And the,
Yeah, 63 of the PDF.
and the 2 million is the rollover
Yeah,
that you asked us to have in there,
for renewable water.
correct?
Okay, so the water fund has the money to be able to do these capital projects?
Yes, it does. It has a fund balance, yes.
Okay,
Somewhere in the $8 million range, wasn't it?
If I recall, yes, that's one of the things that still needs to be included is the fund balance for each of the funds, but the monies are available, yes.
Is that due to the bond?
Due to the balance?
The bond.
No, the bonds have been spent. Yep, we spent the 20 million.
Yeah, we had a timeline to do
Right.
that in.
It was 3 years.
Yeah, it's in the budget the repayment schedule is in there too. I saw
Yeah.
that.
Yes,
so is that total expense going to be done in 2026 or does that roll over or?
well, it's budgeted right now for 2026, so the 2 million, that depends on a renewable water source, but for the capital projects, some of them were rolled over from 25. So that's up to Tom and his team, whether they're able to accomplish those in 26.
Okay, so just as long as the funds are available and we don't have to borrow money to do this.
We are not
'cause,
borrowing money for any of that.
Yeah, we don't need to be borrowing
Nope.
money for anything.
There's no debt request in this budget or needed.
Okay,
So since you brought water up, before you go on to the next thing, can I bring something up?
no, that was all I had.
Oh,
So go ahead.
okay, well, anyway. We got a bill for the loop. I don't know that I saw anything in particular about, I know there's renewable waters things in here. But it's my opinion, and I don't know about anybody else in the council, but I think that that bill should not be paid to continue providing money to the loop until we have seen that the county has paid their bill, that they are now three quarters behind on as far as loop reimbursements, and that we see something substantial for them on the pricing of the system and what the cost will be to the town. And I don't know if that's in the budget right now as a number, but it was 200,000 to us or something like that.
Currently, it's 107,000.
107. So is that in the budget somewhere? Is there something to account for that $107,000?
Yeah, it should be under future water projects. It's right now labeled loop water project, but we have 750,000 towards future water projects,
Okay.
future renewable water
I
projects.
think we need to have more conversations with the loop before they see any more money from us, especially given the fact that the county is not holding up their bargain on paying them out. So not to say that we won't ever pay it, but right now I just would like us to hold that back. Any,
Oh, I've said that before. I think holding that until we get some clarification would be outstanding.
Yeah, I'm with you on that as well. I'm showing on page 63 expenditures, loop water project 750 for 2026. And 750 for 2025.
what packet are you looking at?
Yeah.
Are you looking at the 479 packet? Because page 63 for me looks like a contract of
Yeah.
some sort.
I'm looking at
On the agenda.
The agenda,
The-
the PDF.
yeah, the PDF 2026 proposed budget.
Yeah, so 100 and something in the packet. Yeah, I don't know what page you're on in the packet.
I'm on,
Can't move it because the document won't load for me.
it's showing page 63 of 84 of the PDF. So probably, oh, there's
It
a
would be
bunch of
page
numbers.
63 of the budget book.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm scrolling.
I can't get there.
Not all.
If I'm reading it correctly, it's showing 750
750 and.
for budget.
2025 and 750. Says.
And that's what I was just saying, like that should say for future renewable water projects, depending on what project we choose. I don't know.
Gotcha.
It didn't, at one time we had said not to say the loop, so that's just something we need to make.
Gotcha.
that
Oh,
adjustment.
okay. Okay, so
But some
that's
sort of project,
okay, renewable water project.
correct,
Gotcha.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. But I'm with you, Mayor Mitch.
Ditto.
Again, not as a punishment, it's just, I'd like to see numbers. And then we can make a decision. So, the 2 million is for renewable water purchases, the shares essentially, like the actual molecules. The 750, like, Madeline said, that's for a renewable water project, like the infrastructure to bring renewable water to the town.
That is correct, yes.
So it's two, you need both, but it's two different events, if you will.
Correct.
Okay, so just to be clear, so that we can, so everybody knows what's going on here.
Okay.
Okay, so our budget, our general fund budget, which is operating expense for the town.
Correct.
Okay, on that one, that's the one we've cut most of the expenses out of.
Correct.
And on that one, we're balanced and we're looking at trying to find a couple 100,000.
We're using a couple 100,000 from the general fund
Right.
reserve,
Right,
which is perfectly legal.
sure. But with a 0 projected sales tax revenue increase, if the revenue increases, then that will stay in the fund balance.
Correct.
Okay. And so other than that, we have capital improvements with the water fund that have been scheduled for some time now. I mean, we were working on this for at least 5 years.
Yes.
And so that, because that, I know that water tank gets, it fails inspections now. So we've got to deal with that thing.
Yes.
But that's a capital improvement and not a deficit in the water fund.
That is correct.
Okay.
And those monies can only be used for the water fund, for the
Right.
water enterprise.
Right. And capital improvements.
Correct.
If we didn't have the capital improvements, we would be adding money into that fund.
Right. So the water fund pays for operations and capital improvements. 2A only pays for capital improvements.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Okay. Clear. And we're clear then.
Good.
That's right. Make sure the public's clear on it.
Yeah, well, that's what we're trying to do, is make sure we're being transparent on everything here.
Right. Okay, other questions or comments on the budget from council?
Just a quick one on the accounting versus normal people numbers. I would just, instead of rewriting everything, or just at the bottom disclaimer, no, don't freak out. Don't jump off a building. That this is accounting numbers, not normal
Okay.
people numbers. I would just leave it at that and just kind of, I freaked out too. I'm like, this is not what was presented.
All right, yeah,
I'm moving.
I saw things in parentheses and negative numbers and I was like, help?
Right.
It did not look good, but, yeah, something like a disclaimer.
Yeah,
or
disclaimer, an explainer at the
something
bottom.
on the cover sheet,
More than enough.
as Mayor Pro Tem suggested.
Okay.
So when the public's going through, they get a little bit of education that this is not how you normally see things on your bank statement.
Right.
Because this is done with accounting software, not
Yes.
QuickBooks or Excel.
Yeah.
But otherwise, great job. Thank you very much. That was, yeah, it was
Yeah, and again, kudos to the staff for getting this in line. You know, it's no fun when economies change and revenues get less, especially with a government that only has one way of collecting revenue, which is taxes.
Mhm.
I mean, it could be fees, but it's still a tax, right?
Mhm.
And it's just not that easy to just increase all that stuff.
Yep.
So, we hope that um, more people spend money buying things that generate sales tax revenue.
Yes, we do.
And
$700,000 worth.
and hopefully 2026 is an improvement from 2025.
We sure hope so.
But I'm really glad that you kept the revenue projections flat, because everybody else I see is sitting at like 2.5% increases. And I hope they're right, and I hope you're wrong.
Hope so too.
But
Really
I'm
do.
glad that you're being conservative on
Thank you.
this.
And I want to thank you for doing the budget book. Because as I said, I went out and I'm like, well, by gosh, we've been bad people.
No.
Not necessarily, but I mean, at least we're now consistent with the rest of everybody else with the budget book that shows all of the information and drowns people with data. I
Mhm.
love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, great job by staff.
Yep, they're a terrific group. They really are. And the CIP was included in there as well, and you saw that once before? No, have you seen that before?
What?
No, you saw the capital improvement plan.
The
We had
wish
showed
list?
you the spreadsheets at the last meeting, and now you see it in the final document. And again, that's the one that we'll continue to work on and expand.
Yeah, there's only one line item in the wish list that I think developers should pay for, Dan, and that is the pedestrian bridge that goes from CSI to Conexus property. I don't think that we should ever be looking at what that expense would be, not just as a singular purchase, but the in perpetuity maintenance
Mhm.
costs of that.
Yep.
But if the developers want to chip in and build one and take care of it as part of their PIF or whatever else they collect, I'm not opposed to it. It sounds like actually more work for the police too, to monitor from people doing bad things up there, damaging it, throwing things off of it. I just don't like the idea of that being in the town in general, but we shouldn't certainly pay for it if it were to show up. All right, we will move on to the Americans with Disabilities Self-Assessment Report. I sort of wasn't expecting this. Very eye-opening.
Mhm.
I'm sure there'll be questions.
I don't know if I'll be able to answer them. I am not the subject matter expert. Gosh, it's been a little while now. We came to you with a contract. We did hire subject matter experts, a consulting company that has spent a tremendous amount of work in the town. As you can see from the documentation, they've assessed all of our facilities, our parks, our public right-of-way, as well as our policies and procedures, and our website, our digital footprint. And so as part of this process, so they've put all these documents together. And part of the process is to have a public review period of these documents. And so that's what I wanted to bring it to council first, so you would see it, know that it's going to go up on the website. These documents that I've shared with you, along with a lot more data, will go up on the website, be available for public review and comment. It's normally 30 days, but with the holidays, we're going to leave it on till maybe mid-January. If we get any comments, we can look at those, incorporate those in. We would finalize these documents. And we're already underway of creating a transition plan. So you don't get to just identify all of your deficiencies and your barriers. You actually have to have a plan to fix them. And so this company has a phenomenal spreadsheet that they've made for us. And we have to start to, you would love it. We have to start to identify, and thankfully we have the capital projects fund, and we usually put in $1 million. Half of that is for curb, gutter, and sidewalks, and a lot of that work is ADA improvements. And so we're already making progress, but we will have to look at these and start to budget and some of them are very small. It can be a handle or a doorknob or the height of something or tables in the way. We can get those out of the way quickly. Others we're going to have to budget for, and you'll start to see those then put into that's the beauty of the CIP, right? So the document then doesn't get lost, you're starting to put it into your financial planning and your project planning. And so the timing is perfect to be able to transition those right in, and we need to start to chip away at those. So this is that first official look at what they found. So we have more information will be coming, but this is an opportunity for the public to give us feedback. And partially in case we missed something or there's a barrier for someone that maybe they didn't catch, and that individual can let us know and we can include that.
So given that this is very inclusive of parks
Mhm.
and it is a capital expenditure, I'm going to take a wild assumption that had we passed a lodging tax, that the original survey said the people were for,
Mhm.
that money could have gone towards mitigating these deficiencies in the parks throughout the town.
Yes, it would have been a very appropriate use. Yes.
So I would say that, at least in my opinion, we make sure that when we go out to survey again, that we point some of those questions towards the assessment, so that people have an understanding of the kind of
Mhm.
things. This isn't just putting, new equipment down or new sod or infrastructure, but it is to remedy these deficiencies and that the residents don't actually pay the cost.
Correct. What I've really appreciated about this firm is their perspective. When they came to meet with us for the first time, they talked about the fact that this isn't really about disability. This is about accessibility, right? And some of us at some point in time may not be fully accessible, right? And my husband has been on crutches for the last 6 weeks, and I can tell you, it's been a very interesting perspective. And I keep hearing him in my head that it's not about just being disabled. It's about anyone's ability to access something. And so I just really appreciated that, and I've been living it for the last 6 weeks. So it's,
Does it end?
no, I hope not. I hope so. I hope it does.
The Triview component of this, that was added in because their parks are technically our parks.
They are within the town of Monument, and we are responsible for doing the assessment for the town of Monument.
Okay.
So this has been sent, their portion has been sent to Triview, and we'll start to have conversations with them. A transition plan will also be prepared for them. They will have to, the transition plan must have a schedule in it. And it's not our place to identify a schedule for Triview's work. So we'll need to meet with them, and the transition plan will not be accepted by the Department of Justice unless there's a schedule in it.
But they would stand to benefit from the lodging tax passing, because the capital, one of the things we discussed when we wrote the language was the capital improvements of all the parks.
Right.
So given their parks are technically our parks because they're in the town, I would expect that we would be providing, they would be benefiting from the revenue generated from that lodging tax to help with the costs of capital improvements.
That would be at the direction of the council. I wasn't involved in those conversations, so I don't.
Oh.
But a question about on the Triview side. If the developer is still building and they haven't turned over all these parks,
Right.
how is the word getting to the developer for them to upgrade and meet these requirements so it doesn't come back to Triview or
The town technically.
the town?
Yeah, because what's interesting is there's some brand new parks in here.
Yeah.
Brand new.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Then it's probably something that we need to have a conversation with those developers and let them know that their parks have deficiencies that need to be met to comply with the assessment. And before they get whatever documents we turn over, certificates of occupancy, et cetera, that until they make it compliant, then they don't get their certificates to some, I think that's the direction we're looking at, right?
Yes.
Well, something, because some of them, these parks are like a year or two old.
Yes.
Yep.
I'll work with our town engineer to add that to their checklist for inspections.
Great, thank you.
I think think that would be a big thing for the town. So it doesn't fall back on us. And it's working together with the developer to make sure everything's in compliance before it does get turned over.
I did notice that, and I know an awful lot of work went into the redevelopment of our webpage. And there were some deficiencies there. Are we going to bring this to the attention of the company that we
Yes,
get the hosting from and
Yes.
have them make the corrections?
that is underway. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, any other questions about the accessibility assessment? Oh, you got out of here in 30 minutes or so. Okay, we have one more finance. We have an ordinance, which is a public hearing. Ordinance 21-2025, an ordinance to amend Title III on the vendor fee discounts. Hi.
Yes, good evening. Hi. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Lori, Finance Manager. I'm presenting Ordinance 21-2025, which is an amendment to our town code to eliminate vendor fee discounts. This is sales tax related, so that the businesses remitting sales tax to the town will no longer or be given that discount, which means more revenue to the town. We currently offer a 0.333% discount on the sales tax that they remit, up to a maximum of $100. And so that would go away and we would keep the money. So it's additional revenue to the town.
Okay, questions or comments from the council?
Yeah, I mean, this is just something they should be doing normally, so I don't have any problem with that. I mean, it almost seems like it should have a reverse. If you don't pay by a certain amount of time, then there's a penalty.
Is there a
We do.
penalty? Yeah,
You do have a penalty?
We absolutely do.
All right.
it's $4 million a month.
I'll wait for that.
Yeah.
And this would go effective January 1st. So that returns filed in February for January sales.
We're gonna notify them.
Yes, we will put something on our website. We'll put it on our GovOS dashboard as well as the SUTS dashboard.
Okay, this is a public hearing item. We will open the public hearing for anybody who would like to speak for or against this ordinance. Is there anybody here who would like to speak to the ordinance? Okay, Will, we have anybody online?
No hands raised on the line, Mayor.
All right, we will bring it back, close the public hearing and back to discussion from the council or a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept or approve ordinance number 21-2025, an ordinance amending Title III, Section 3.08.030 and 3.11.010I of the Monument Municipal Code to remove the vendor's fee discounts.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, Ms. Erickson. You're not getting it? Chad?
It's slow.
Oh. All right, that motion passes 6-0. Thank you. Next up, Resolution 65, 2025, resolution adopting the 2026-2028 strategic objectives. Madeline.
Well, I'm just going to introduce our consultant, Mr. Trouch. He came to us last week. We worked on this through a study session. So really, we just have the resolution and the strategic objectives as an exhibit to go through tonight, but I will let John present this.
Yeah, thank you, Madeline. Good evening, Mayor and Council. For those that I haven't met, my name is John Trelch. I'm a strategic planning consultant that was retained by the town of Monument to help the town develop a new strategic plan. And I'm here this evening to recommend a resolution to you for the adoption of the third core component of your strategic plan, your strategic objectives. And so what are strategic objectives? They are the action items of your strategic plan. They are the deliverables that will be tasked to your staff to accomplish over the next 3 years that directly support the 4 focused strategic priorities that the council adopted, all of which support your new town vision. And so these objectives were developed over the course of the last several months in close coordination with your staff. And last week, council had a study session where you had the opportunity to review each one of these objectives. And so come back to you this evening and ask for your formal consideration by resolution to adopt these objectives. Pending that, this essentially completes your strategic plan. So you have a vision statement, you have your focus priorities and your action items and deliverables. I will just take all of this and put it together into your actual strategy. And I have to say tonight, like seeing budget and strategy done together at one time, Monument is doing some very exciting things. So pending your questions, I would ask that you consider the resolution.
Thank you, John. Questions or comments? I, for one, am so happy that we have gotten this far. It only took 7 years. When I first met you several years ago at the CML district meeting down in Fountain and talked to Mayor Thompson about what this was all about, I went back to town staff immediately and said, this is something that we need to do. And could not be more proud of the staff and the amount of effort and energy that they put into the development of this. Every department head and all the people that report up to them have just done a bang up job, and the council's participation has been nothing. I mean, everybody's participation has been nothing short of amazing to get this done. So applause to staff for all the effort that you guys put in. It's really nothing. We can't say thank you enough for this. And hopefully future councils will follow suit and continue this effort so that we have these objectives to follow. And as times change, I'm sure the objectives will change as well. But this is a really good foundation for the town to move forward with. And I, for one, I'm very proud of what we put together.
Yeah, this is very impressive. And I'm sure it's not an accident that it looks a lot like military strategy and O plans. Because it was, I read through it, I was like, oh yeah, I know this format. But it's very straightforward.
It's an Air Force thing, must be, right?
Yeah.
Proven.
But no, it's a format that is doable and repeatable. It's definitely something that the town should be proud of, as well as especially its citizens. So this is really good.
It was a fun exercise too.
Yeah.
The sticky notes and the boards and everybody getting to come together with each other to put this together was a good exercise. So
as we grow, we've got to, get out of our parents' basement, which is what we've been doing here, and putting all these plans together should set the town up for success, and that's the option, the object of doing this. So
You're doing a great job of it. And to hear this evening that it's integrated in your budget as well, your budget document is just right where you need to be.
That was going to be exactly my comment. Not only did we get it done, it's done, but it's integrated into the budget. And this is the first step. Next year, we're the budget will be built around Monument 2040. So exciting things coming as we move along.
Okay, well, who wants to make the motion?
Oh, me. I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 65-2025, a resolution adopting the 2026-2028 strategic objectives. Yeah, that's it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Erickson?
Well, I clicked past. Okay, there it goes.
Okay. That motion passes 6-0.
Congratulations, council and Town of Monument. I look forward to delivering your completed strategy. Thank you.
Okay, next up is a resolution to approve the revised employee handbook. Mr. Trujillo. Haven't seen you in a while?
I don't know, maybe last week, last Monday?
Oh, well,
It's a while.
it's a while.
Yeah, I want to say, I'm sorry, it seemed like this packet, there was a lot of reading material for everyone. I hope that we got that out of our system, right?
Yeah.
So good evening, Mayor, Council. I am up here to ask to adopt the revised employee handbook for 2026. As you know, every year that I have been here, we now do a update to our handbook. We check for compliance, regulations, also to make sure that we improve the clarity and understandability for the employees as well as supervisors to make sure that we can hold everyone to a certain standard. The employee handbook is reviewed by members of leadership as well as myself to ensure the policies are accurate, compliant, and user-friendly. A general overview of the revisions is, of course, attached with the log. Hopefully that aided in a little bit of guidance for everybody. Within the list, you'll see references to pages as well as sections. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer. But I am hoping that based on this review and this presentation that we'll be able to move forward with this updated employee handbook for 2026.
Questions?
As you know. I had a question about a specific section.
Yes.
How would we approve the revised handbook contingent on?
This is my idea. Is, of course, AI is out there. We need to have addressed. We need to have guide rails in place. So this is a start of adding those guide rails. If it would please the council, we would be able to bring forward an updated policy for AI at a later date. And then we can have that reviewed and discussed and then add it as an addendum to this handbook.
Thank you.
So you're saying the section would be temporarily removed?
So we can either remove it and we can approve it in that way. But I do think that we need to have these guidelines in the handbook to set a standard for the use of AI that's out there to make sure that the employees know certain items that they can and cannot do.
Can we just leave the title and say TBD? And the reason I ask is because what's in there today, this is my impression, really has no teeth. It's just do whatever you want to do. Just think about it before you do it. And there aren't any parameters. There are no guidelines, real guidelines. And it misses some definitions too. So can we just do a TBD until we've got something substantive?
We can, or we can even trim that down because there is the guidance of making sure certain information is not added into AI. But we can do that if that would please the council, and we can come back in January.
Well, isn't there a way to prevent Copilot from being enabled at the desktop so that it can't be used until such time as there's a policy that has been written and approved? There's lots of ways to enhance or prohibit the desktop operating systems. through group policy, an area that I have some expertise in. And it was my impression, and I could be wrong, but I thought we discussed until we received guidance up from the state's IT group that we are a member of, we would not be implementing AI until we've seen that guidance.
Understood. And when it comes to those specific questions regarding AI and being able to enable and disable, I would lean on our IT director to ensure that we do that appropriately if that is the case. Because that policy would be a partnership in creation for the policy that we would bring forward to council.
And if I can add to that, so similar to when social media started coming out, employees have access to this at home as well as through their personal phones. So we felt it important to address it minimally in the employee handbook as to what information they needed to be cautious about entering into. We've also provided training to our employees as well as, and we've all been continuously learning about this. So we felt it was important to address it in the employee handbook because even if we disable it, I mean, we only have the free version of Copilot right now anyways. Even if we disable it, employees have access to it. So we felt it important to address it at this time.
I think we're licensed for it. So technically it's not free. It's part of the 365 license.
Correct. That's what I mean. It's part of what we get through our Microsoft package, but we do not pay for any additional fees with it. And I can let Mr. Williams explain that in more detail, but it doesn't have access to any of our files. It doesn't have access to SharePoint or anything like that.
Madeline, when you say that everyone's received training, is it or Emily, is it a one-time training or is it a continual training, like semi-annually, quarterly, or whatever? Because all this is constantly evolving and developing. So how often is that training and how is that documented that everyone's received that?
So right now we've been having, we've had several informational sessions on them, safety and security, both at home and for professional use. Will has done a great job of meeting with our staff, at least on a once a month basis. So it's ongoing, but I don't know that we necessarily document that training.
And we also have a platform through CIRSA called KnowBe4, which is what Will utilizes for IT trainings, and that AI is included in that.
Okay.
Yep.
So what I hear you say, if we don't address this, then it's kind of free reign.
Yes.
So
And this,
at least
having it be in the, yes, having this be in the handbook for now is creating those guidelines. They're just putting it into policy format. And if council, as we're discussing right now, we can bring back a updated version that we can put in addendum to approve for that updated policy, but we need to have something in that handbook.
So there's a lot of good things in here that I really like.
Yeah.
I like the topic on long-term financial health and community engagement and positive work culture and the fact that there's zero tolerance in here. So I think you did a great job on this.
It was a team effort.
So just to add my layman's perspective on AI, I often say that, because there's a lot of fear about AI right now, right? And I often say that the world is not going to be taken over by AI. It's going to be taken over by people who know how to use AI. So I think having these simple guardrails in place are helpful, but I think we should encourage the use of AI as long as it's being done safely. And if there's a way to monitor it, that would be great. I don't think there is right now, but I think it's a good tool to help, folks be more efficient in their jobs. I think we should trust our supervisors and department heads to deal with the training and ensuring that it's used responsibly. It's my 2 cents.
So what's the consensus on the section itself?
Absolutely, we should keep it.
Yeah.
You gotta have something.
I'm good with leaving it in for the time
Yes.
being because you can always amend something because this is a living, breathing document.
I'd rather have something and start establishing the guardrails than have nothing. And if there's nothing, to me, it's a free for all. Because if you don't have it in there, well, then you're good. So I'm good. Let's go. And then you've got a bunch of Leroy Jenkins running around with doing AI stuff. I'm not fond of that. I think having something and starting to establish a sandbox to play in, and then amend it as we get a better better read from the state, then we can start amending it.
I'd like to see a schedule set up to do that. So that it just doesn't go into the giant black hole that,
What-
one of these days we should.
What, as Mitch mentioned, that folks at the state level are looking at this.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
The direction that we gave to staff was to find out
Yeah.
what the direction was. And I don't believe we've received as a council any reports on what that direction is. And that's why I am against the section being in and the usage of AI, because there are no guardrails. And to the point of having access to files and systems, there is always a way to download documents off SharePoint and upload them into Copilot. They don't have a direct connection, but people can save documents on their desktop, whether they're Word or PDF, and attach them up and say, review this for clarity, review this for legal reasons, whatever it is they want to be done. Or they can do the reverse and say, create me a document, and then save it to their desktop and upload it to SharePoint. So these are some of the guardrails that are missing. And the fact that we haven't received a report back on this particular topic as to what the state's been discussing are my points of contention with this section.
Well, then
So
what
this-
you're saying is you'd have to ban it because if you just omit that section, then that gives people license to do whatever they want.
But the section already gives them a license to do it.
I think the section is giving them the license and the language saying that the town is basically embracing the use of it when that comes from us.
So
But look, if you guys want to push it through, that's up to you. I'm just saying I disagree.
Okay.
But Will had a statement to make, so I still want to hear from him.
They said.
And to kind of respond to your comment, Mayor, about having the guardrails and the folks copying the PDFs and putting them in, this is a start to having those guide rails. And Laura, with the timeline, I will be more than happy to set a timeline that we can have an updated version to bring back and we can see for council approval. But I do believe that we should have a start in that handbook.
I think, yeah, I mean, the first step would be to find out if the state is even looking at this. So probably talk to DOLA, and hopefully you don't get the RCA dog look. But
The state is working on this. Will does attend those meetings. They have not made any decisions yet. We're also working with other municipalities as to what their policies are. It's all very new for policy.
Yeah.
So we are working on this. We just haven't come up with our own information yet regarding the policy, but we do need a starting point in our employee handbook.
you want to set a 6-month timeline, 3-month to readdress it?
I'm fine with timelines. Like to see something more immediate from the state's
agree.
perspective. It's not like they've not been discussing it, so I would like to see something from that the state, what effort the state has been taking, from the IT group specifically, and if DOLA has something to add, I'd like to see some type of statement from them. And then, 3 months, 6 months, whatever.
No later than 6 months.
Yeah, no later than 6 months. Does that give you enough time? And then obviously if it's earlier, it's earlier. Because I don't even know if the law has actually caught up.
No.
The federal government's punted too.
Yeah.
Any other sections you guys want to talk about, or there was something in here that you guys deleted that I thought was great. I think it's left over from,
They deleted the.
yeah, you had a removal of something, right? Or
Oh,
you
goodness.
clarified some language.
I did a lot of clarification, a lot of clarifying, which I think helps everybody. Because I updated clarification for the steps in corrective action.
That was the GPS thing.
Oh,
I am
yeah.
so happy to see that we are not burdening our employees with GPS tracking capabilities for time card purposes. I
Yep.
thought that was a little invasive.
It is, and it helps build trust. So if it's no longer required and we don't need it, then we're not going to do it. And we're going to build that trust.
Huh?
Long way to use AI. Too soon? Too soon.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, then I will look for a motion for this resolution.
I will make a motion to approve resolution number 66 Tech 2025, a resolution to approve a revised employee handbook.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, Ms. Erickson. That motion passes 6-0. All right, we are going to now bring up resolution from the consent agenda 64/2025. Resolution awarding a construction contract, capital paving and construction for the Beacon Light Road Water Main Project. Mr. Tharnish, I'm sure there's going to be questions for you related to this spend.
Good evening, council. The resolution you have in front of you tonight is to award a construction contract to Capital Paving and Construction. They are the contractor that is doing the Beacon Light Road project through the county, PPRTA project, to basically install curb and gutter, pave the road, and straighten it out a bit on the lower half, where the first two curves are going north. When we first started this several months ago, we had a lot of talks with County Public Works and County Engineering about trying to have everybody move their utilities under the road, under the new section of the road, which makes a lot of sense for maintenance purposes. Because that older section would be the lower section where the curves in it is going to be left out where it is. And I don't know what the county's plan is on that, if it's just going to become a access road to the properties that have driveways that line up to that, or what the case is going to be. But for our purposes, we thought about just replacing the areas, but part of this project with the county is that they're going to also lower large sections of the road. And once they do that, we lose the cover protection on large sections of our current water mains that go up there. We have an 8-inch and a 12-inch main. The 8-inch water main is the main supply line to the tank on Monument Hill. The 12-inch is the line coming out of the tank that feeds the town, or the majority of the commercial zone. And nowadays it's not as much of a feed problem because we have the tank out west. And depending on what we're doing, we have the ability to feed from both tanks. So the talk was with the county about using the same contractor. to do this to save both time and money. It kind of put us in a very unique situation. We haven't done a combined government agencies contract before. But through our own policy, we realized we needed our own contract so that we could control all the work to do with the water mains. Based on the age of the current water mains, we thought for the long term, the best way to proceed with that is to put brand new water mains, since what's existing there has been in the road at least 40 years. There's not an exact date when those lines are put in, but it's been a very long time. And the fear was trying to move anything that old in the ground. We were just setting ourselves up for future leaks under a brand new road. So we made a decision, went forward with new lines. The contractor was on board, and then they stopped for a little bit because they weren't sure. But after a while, they came back and said, yeah, we can do that. And we'll give you a proposal. The proposal came in pretty close to what the engineer's estimate was. And we did verification checks on their previous projects and staffing that they use, and everything checked out. They're a very experienced crew, and we expect that they'll do excellent job with this. We also are using the engineers that we're using for the tank design, Respec Engineering. They're also the ones that have to deal with the pipelines at the upper end of the project anyway, because they're going to tie into the new tank. And it made a lot of sense to save, again, time and money by utilizing the same engineers for that project. The contract in front of you, for the contract itself, the dollar value is $1,588,920. Similar to what we did on the Wells 11, 12, 13 contract, we put a 10% amount in there above that, just as an added contingency, even though I know we don't use that word very often anymore. And the contract, though, is for the 1,588. We put that money in there so that when this gets approved, we have the funding approved. But the rules, if something comes up during this contract, the same rules apply that are in our procurement policy. If something comes up and it exceeds 5% of the contract price or exceeds $25,000, then it would have to come back to you for approval regardless, no matter no matter what they're trying to do with that. I don't really suspect any problems. We haven't had much anything going on with Wells 11, 12, 13 project, even though this council approved that little bit extra amount. So that's how this was set up. The only thing I noticed reviewing this several times was on the actual resolution language at the bottom, second paragraph up, where it says that the council hereby awards construction contract. I should have put the actual amount in the reso. It's in the background paper. It's in the contract, but I didn't add it here. So if we get to the point where the council is going to look at approving this, then I would say I will add a sentence. Could you approve it with a revision that I'll add that sentence that has those dollar amounts in there? That's about the only thing I can think of. Unless I'm open to any questions you may have about the project. I'm very familiar with it. We are adding brand new service connections to, I believe, I could be off by one, maybe 16 lots up there that border that road. We're running 1-inch service lines from the actual new water mains to out behind the curb and gutters, basically on the property lines. And then we're stopping it right there, putting a valve, blank flanging it for future use so that we don't have to break up the road to do that. We've added some new hydrants. The contract pretty much covers everything that will be involved in running new water mains. And this would put us and typically now when you put new water mains in, the expected life is about 40 to 50 years, if not a little longer nowadays. So this should survive till the next generation. So I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
So this is a pretty simple project as far as I don't see where you would be running into any issues along the way because we pretty much know what's there.
We're not expecting any because we had the contractor utilize the geotech information that the county paid for and did prior to finalizing the road plans.
So it
And
doesn't seem like this should go into the contingency yet.
I'm not expecting it to. I'm really not. But I have to be prepared for that. I mean,
Sure.
I gave the council here a memo, I don't know, 3-4 months ago now, trying to explain when you have engineering contracts versus purchasing capital equipment versus construction, engineering and capital are easy. You don't need anything more of those because it's a defined price for what you're getting. Construction, there's always an unknown. You're digging in an area that hasn't been dug up before. But then again, being this late in the year, I think I put in in some of the language here that we don't expect to use very much of that between now and the end of the year. So that part of that 5 million that's in next year's will help offset this. And then once we get to the actual approval of the tank design contract, then we'll be coming back to you with a different, whatever the bidder ends up being on that one.
So
That'd be totally different.
So I get what I was really kind of getting at is I just, when you put these contingencies in there, there's always an incentive to go, oh, I can build 10% more. But
Right.
for something like this, I mean, this is about as straightforward of a project as you can get.
Right. Well, the contract is only based on what the price that they gave us.
Sure.
The
Right.
the extra funding there is purely at our discretion, depending on if something came up.
Okay,
And
good.
you would be well informed ahead of time of that coming.
And this is this is part of your capital improvements for 2026 budget?
I can't remember if it's, I would think it is, but I don't remember the actual page that showed that. But this is a capital project for the water fund, for the 2A fund. And along with the tank, which hopefully, I think legally speaking, should be getting really close to wrapping up.
What kind of shape is that tank in right now? It's not leaking or anything yet, is it?
It doesn't leak externally, but it's 50 years old. The roof's in not very good condition. The state has hammered us quite a bit over the years about getting that tank replaced. But what's happened is the tank has really become very flat. So there's no dome to it. So it ponds water.
Oh, wow.
And water over time, you can see the concrete has thinned out. You get flaking coming off. You see exposed tendons and rebars. We've done probably 3 separate projects that I can think of over the last 5 years to try to stabilize it. We put skim coats on it. We put a membrane cover on it. We've had several inspections by dive companies. We've had engineers look at it. So right now, I don't believe it's getting any worse. We're kind of holding our own. But again, the state reminds us every chance they get that when are you going to replace that tank?
Right.
And our answer is usually it's tied up in some legal land issues right now, but we're coming to the end of that. In fact, I think the geotech people are going to be released sometime in the next week or 2, I think. I can't remember what the last email I had from Doug over at the attorney's office. Yeah, but we're real close.
Keep saying that.
Okay,
I try not to give you a date.
Yeah, this is probably one of our longest legal
I believe it is.
engagements.
When you get 3 parties and find out that your lot lines are not where they're supposed to be, and everybody's fences are in the wrong place, and the old man's shed there is half on Comcast property and half on his, and he argued that it's all on his, and it just, you've been around here a long time,
Okay, you made reference to the engineer, the previous engineer, to use the same engineer, right?
For this water pipeline project, it is the same design engineering firm that is designing the tank.
Okay.
Top of Monument Hill.
So we will be paying that engineering firm in addition to this contract, correct?
Yes, you already approved that engineering contract
Okay.
probably a month and a half ago.
But it doesn't affect our situation with the engineering firm that Mr. Ungerleider has, right? Or is
No.
this all the same? Okay,
No, it's nothing to do with them.
okay.
This was
perfect.
going on way before they came in the picture.
So, okay.
Good.
Un momento. Sí.
I've got one procedural request.
Yes,
For contracts of this magnitude, can we avoid putting them in the consent agenda in the future?
sure.
I mean, we talked about that ahead of time, but we thought because we had conversations about things are going on.
I know it's a big number.
Kind of knew.
It's a really big number and I just rather us air it. And if there's any additional questions, people can hear
Sure.
the responses.
We can easily do that.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. Other questions from the council on this? Okay, not a public hearing item, right? Okay.
Mm-mm.
Or otherwise wouldn't be in the.
Came out of the
consent agenda.
consent.
Yeah.
so.
Okay, so, looking for a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 64-2025, a resolution awarding a construction contract to Capital Paving and Construction LLC for the Beacon Light Road Water Main Placement Project
With the inclusion.
With the
with the
inclusion,
inclusion
modification of the, yeah,
of
so
the price in the resolution.
Second.
we have motion and a second. Mr. Tharnish, if you could get that updated language to Tina to print out, I will sign that copy whenever, today, tomorrow, whatever. Okay. That motion passes 6-0. Public comments for items not on the agenda. Individuals attending in person may raise their hand to indicate their desire to comment. Individuals attending via Teams may raise their hand digitally to comment via connected devices. Please lower your hand when finished with your comments. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Is there anybody here in town hall who would like to speak? She had her hand raised first.
Okay.
Okay, yes. Good evening, Council. Terry Hayes with the Tri-Lakes Chamber of Commerce. I just want to point out that tomorrow night is our monthly business after hours event. It is at the Tri-Lakes YMCA. It is our annual nonprofit night, and it is one of our best attended and also one of our favorites. It's our opportunity to be able to give our nonprofit members in the community a time and a place to have a table, explain to everybody what it is they do. Our feeling is everybody should be helping out somehow. If you have the money and no time, you write a check. If you don't have the money but some time, then donate some time. And the best way to keep going in volunteering with these local nonprofits that need our help is to find something that means something to you. Could be puppies, it could be children, could be the elderly, it could be the environment. Whatever it is, pick something that means close to your heart. That will be something that you will continue on going forward. And our support of nonprofits in our community is what helps our community be great. So we hope we'll see you there tomorrow, 5 to 7 at the Tri-Lakes YMCA. Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of nonprofits, good evening. I don't know. I'm not sure, but we'll be there. Yes, we'll be participating, of course, in the Chamber Nonprofit Evening. So hopefully you all get to come visit our booth. So speaking of getting involved in nonprofits in the community, just wanted to say thank you for the council working on their annual turkey drive, spearheaded by our lovely mayor. Appreciate the support. It takes a lot of effort to pull off what we are about to pull off tomorrow, starting at 11 a.m. when we open our doors for service. This is the week where we're doing holiday food distribution. And so we expect to serve several hundred families this week, several hundred households, I should say, coming in through picking up their holiday food distribution baskets from today all the way through Thursday evening at 6 p.m. And then we'll do the same the week before December holidays. And we can only continue to serve the community with community support. In fact, I'm taking this wonderful time on my hands to sign a ton of donor acknowledgement letters. And so the town will be receiving one as well for your support with the turkey drive. So just wanted to say thank you for leading by example and the continued support of the work that we do.
If I can add to that, we think we broke a record this year. It required cases of turkey versus the individual ones that we just chuck in the back of my truck and hope they didn't slide out on the way over. And a pallet, a special cart to move them. So almost 400 pounds of turkey. And
It was even more when we were both standing on the scale.
Right.
Yeah, it's still turkey.
That's right. That was the point. That was the point.
But yeah, thank you for the council for spending their own money. No taxpayer money was spent during this endeavor, and we're very happy to continue the tradition. So, any other public comment? Will, anybody online?
There are no hands raised, Mayor.
Okay, we'll close public comment and bring it to the highlight of the night, future agenda item authorization.
I'm glad you like this part of the meeting. So we would like to have another study session regarding the Title VIII rewrite on January 5th at 5:30.
January 5th.
It's our first Monday meeting of the new year.
We're going to have several of these, right? Or is this is the second or third on Title VIII?
This is the second one on Title VIII.
Okay. It's a big title.
It's a big chapter, yep.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm fine with it. I don't know about everybody else.
I'm good.
Good.
Okay.
And then Dan, Mr. Ungerleider would like to have a combined study session with the Planning Commission and Town Council on January 14th. And I believe, please help me out if I'm wrong, it's traffic study information. Yeah, so it'd be during the normal Planning Commission meeting.
We're going to be reviewing traffic impact reports as well as stormwater reports that are typically are required by for new developments, and then reviewed by our engineers and reported to both Plan Commission and yourselves when you're considering a development.
Okay.
6 p.m.
You were not expecting any development applications that day, or are we going to reconfigure the room for a joint like we've done before?
This is taking priority. We're going to make sure that both Plan Commission and yourselves get the benefit of meeting with our town engineer and reviewing both of those topics.
Okay.
And the last item is asking to see if there are any one to two council members who would like to be involved with rewriting the lease for the Chamber of Commerce. Okay.
Well, I'll participate.
And those are the last items that I have.
Okay, and then on to your manager report.
Sure, I'll make this one short and sweet since we have a longer meeting tonight. October, we had quite a bit of outreach due to Monument 2040 outreach, and then our usual volunteering with trunk or treat activities. We also had our fourth graders come, and thank you to the council that were able to participate with that field trip to Town Hall. The kids seemed to really enjoy coming to learn about local government and talk about things that they'd like to see in our town. We've spent a lot of time on budget, as you've heard in some of our council meetings. And and just continuing a lot of the same work that we've been working on throughout the year. So as always, I appreciate staff's work on getting this information to us, and then to Laura Hogan for compiling it all. We are happy to answer any questions or clarify anything that you may have read in the report.
Well, I for one think, as usual, I love seeing the updates from all the departments. They're always well done. I love the inclusion of the pictures. The only department that's missing is legal. I don't know, maybe we need to start getting pictures of them hard at work.
No, we don't want that, Bill.
But yeah, I thought it was a well done report. Anything else? Okay, we'll move on to council comments.
I just have a quick one. So tomorrow I get to go to Bear Creek Elementary School and speak with the Weeblos on local government. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, considering I was one a long time ago.
You make sure that we've got pictures.
Yes.
That said, I will be participating in Lewis Palmer Elementary School Literacy Night, reading books to the, well, I don't know what book I'm reading yet, to the kids on Wednesday night. If you've got children, make sure they come by, and I will stamp their little sheet. Well, they have little stickers they have to collect or something. Yeah, they've got, it's like a passport. And hopefully it's a good book. Last one was about fall. Last year was about fall. And then, okay, let's see, El Paso County will be recognizing the new Pikes Peak Honor Bell, which with a special ceremony on Tuesday, November 18th, outside of Centennial Hall, after the county commissioners conclude their meeting, which supposedly concludes, I'm not sure how this is written, if it concludes at 9 a.m. or if their meeting starts at 9 a.m. But this honor bell is from the Honor Bell Foundation. It is to ensure every veteran receives dignified final honors, that their service and sacrifice are never to be forgotten. It is one of 2 honor bells that exist. I believe there'll be 7 veterans that are employees of the county that will be hauling the bell, so to speak. I'm not sure what it takes and if they're wearing uniforms or not, but it should be quite an event. So if anybody wants to participate, it'll be November 18th, which is tomorrow. And then finally, depending on how things work with our attorneys and the county attorneys, there is a meeting of the Fountain Creek Watershed District this Friday at 9 a.m. at Fountain City Hall. We all know that nothing has been resolved yet as it pertains to the appointment of Council Member Smith. Hopefully that can be resolved. Otherwise, if anybody would like to speak up at the Fountain Creek Watershed District meeting, that is going to be this Friday, the 21st at 9 a.m. And that's all I have for council comments. Anybody else? Okay. Then I will look for a motion to move us into executive session where we will adjourn from executive session.
Just to clarify, are we voting each individual one, or do you want a full?
There's one.
There's 2 CRSs. There's 2.
There's one executive session.
Okay. Okay, cool. I make a motion to move into executive session pursuant to 24-6-402 sub 4 sub B CRS for a conference with the town attorney and the town's water attorney to receive legal advice on specific legal questions regarding water supply and pursuant to 24-6-402 sub 4 sub E CRS to determine positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and instructing negotiators regarding proposed agreements with the Loop Water Authority and the Northern Delivery System, and adjourn thereafter.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Erickson. Get logged out?
Yeah.
Stand by, she got logged out. And she has an error occurred here. You don't see my vote?
He just voted.
Did you vote?
Hit refresh. Refresh. She's broken.
Broken. Wait a minute. Thank you. Good.
All right, that motion passes. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. No decision, and we'll take a 10-minute recess.